Today's interview begins with a common generative AI question. The interviewer sets the stage for Gen AI interview. The candidate prepares to answer confidently. The interviewer writes a key question on the board. This is an important question often asked in Gen AI interviews. The candidate looks carefully and begins thinking. The interviewer asks, "What is few-shot prompting?" The focus here is few-shot prompting. The candidate smiles and starts explaining. Let me explain this with a simple story. This simple explanation makes the idea easy to understand. The interviewer nods with interest. Imagine a smart student sitting in a classroom. This smart student represents how LLMs behave. The scenario becomes clear in the interviewer's mind. The student is new and unfamiliar with expectations. Being new in class means guidance is required. The explanation builds step by step. The teacher asks a question without any examples. With no context, the student may struggle to respond. The limitation becomes obvious. The teacher asks to convert a sentence into past tense. This direct question comes without guidance. The student begins guessing. An inconsistent or incorrect answer is given. This confusion happens because no pattern exists. The problem becomes clear to the interviewer. Now the approach changes completely. The teacher decides to add examples first. This shift becomes the key turning point. A few input-output pairs are shown. This pattern begins guiding the student's thinking. Interest builds naturally. The first example appears clearly on the board. This example 1 shows the transformation. The student observes carefully. A second example reinforces the same idea. This example 2 strengthens understanding. Confidence starts to build. Connections form between both examples. The learner begins to see the pattern clearly. Understanding improves quickly. The teacher repeats the original question. This time, the student is ready to try again. Anticipation builds. The answer is now correct and confident. This correct answer comes from pattern learning. A clear improvement is visible. This mirrors how large language models behave in practice. This is few-shot prompting in action. The concept clicks into place. A formal explanation is now introduced. This definition clarifies few-shot prompting. Attention remains focused. Few-shot prompting uses example pairs. These input-output examples guide the model. Structure becomes important. The system observes relationships in structure. The model learns pattern from examples. Understanding deepens. No retraining is required here. This no training required makes it efficient. The advantage stands out clearly. Everything depends on prompt design. This prompt is key for guiding behavior. The insight becomes critical. A sentiment classification example is introduced. This sentiment example shows real usage. Examples appear on the board. Sentences are mapped to labels. These positive-negative labels define outcomes. The mapping becomes clear. Predictions follow learned patterns. This model predicts based on examples. Results become consistent. Translation is another useful example. This translation example shows flexibility. Language flow is visualized. Words shift between languages. This language mapping comes from examples. The idea feels intuitive. This method appears in real systems. This real-world use highlights importance. Relevance becomes obvious. Different prompting styles exist. These 0-1-few approaches define usage. Comparison begins. Zero Shot uses no examples. This Zero Shot relies only on instructions. Results may vary. One Shot uses a single example. This One Shot gives limited guidance. Accuracy improves slightly. Few Shot uses multiple examples. This few shot power improves accuracy significantly. Performance becomes reliable. The model focuses on patterns. This pattern recognition drives correct outputs. The behavior is predictable. The final answer is presented clearly. This final answer summarizes everything. Attention remains focused. Few-shot prompting means guiding AI with examples. This few-shot prompting improves response accuracy. The interview concludes successfully.